Okay, y'all. So I did not see myself doing a Love and Hip Hop damn review, but y'all know every time once in a blue moon when they touch on an important subject, DivaWuan to add her 2 cents on in. And this is very similar to something that's going on at the show that I do review. The Circle Atlanta. So we got this situation with the Latinas on the show. I said, ain't this something? Now this is the full-fledged Latina equivalent of what's going on at the Circle. So you got this, half black, black American / Mexican American woman named Shalina or something of other. She's new on to the show, so. And then you got the other new girl, Naraya. She's like full-fledged Puerto Rican, I believe. So it's like they sitting down with darn Princess Love, who I thought was darn half Chinese, half, something like that. But she's half Filipino. So I want to say Filipinos are like the Asian Hispanics. So it's like, it's a table full of darn different Latino women. One Asian, one white, and one darn biracially leaning black. So I was like, now this is a darn good diversity set up here to show the diversity amongst the Latino community. So old girl mentions that she's having an all-black event, and all due respect to Naraya, is blacks only, and we don't, you're not invited. And I was like, uh-oh. Now I said, oh, let's see how this plays out. And at first she sounded like she was cool with it, Naraya. But then later on, honey, she done told everybody. She done told her darn husband, who we finding out the husband is darn Latina. His name, I said Latino himself. I said, well, damn. This goes to show how darn mixed up Miami be. It be like, you be hard pressed to find a full black person in darn Miami, my complexion. It's like everybody that I see in Miami is either mixed up with something. And if they're fully black, they have to be like chocolate. They have to be like Tasha K or, Funky Dineva, Trick Daddy. But anybody who's like my complexion and lighter, and I'm very dark, as y'all can tell. Like, I don't even consider myself brown skin. I'm dark. And it seems like anybody my complexion and lighter in Miami is mixed up with something. Turns out, old boy who's around my complexion, he's darn half Puerto Rican. I said, okay. So that's interesting. So it's like now we getting the perspectives of the brown skin, the biracials in the midst of black conversations, in the full white wife, how she feels excluded. They end up darn abreasting darn Amarla Negra on this situation. Amarla Negra. So I can't do that shit like darn Forrest Rocks does it. Amarla Negra. I can't do that Spanish. I'm too southern. But anyways, child, now I got to look at darn Shalia with the with the side eye on this. Hold on to that. But first, let's darn touch on the fact that I see both sides of this situation. Because when they do call her out, they later on in the program end up sitting down with her again. And I believe it was at Naraya's darn soon to be smoothie shop or whatnot. They end up darn meeting up with her. And then, darn old girl breaks down in tears, Princess Love, because she was having childhood, flashback traumas of, this would have been nice for her Filipino, mother to have, been invited to such an event. This, that, and the third, when you're raising black children, and especially since, black men tend to darn make a lot of people single parents, regardless if it's a gay relationship, regardless if it's a, heterosexual, same race relationship, interracial relationship. Common narrative is there's a lot of darn deadbeat black men out here. And the mothers end up having to darn or, in Naraya's case, the father is present, but he's so hard working that he does not physically be there. So he's physically there. he's financially supportive, but emotionally somewhat detached, and he's focusing on trying to get emotionally attached to the children or whatnot. So even in that regard, when the father's in the picture, sometimes the father might not be there emotionally. So we seeing many different aspects of that as well. So Prince's Love, made mention about how it would have been nice if her mother would have had an opportunity where she can get invited to a black event like this, raising up black people. And then, Naraya, having a black, half black darn going husband, black children, this, that, and the third. I didn't even know that the children were by other people. So I guess he got with a black woman and the children are dominantly black or whatnot, because they are more, darker than her. I would have thought they would have been like in a combination, caramel or whatnot. But she do have like one child, I believe, by him. So with that being said, so many different nuances going on here. So she ends up darn going having to explain about how the fact that obviously she's not darn gone bigoted. She's half white herself, half white Mexican. Her mother is darn gone a white Mexican. Her sister's fully white, and even more white because the other husband, the younger sister father, is a full white man, and the mother is a white Hispanic. So she went into darn on having to explain about how the fact that certain events are just for black people. And it's like the fact that she even had to go into detail like that is just sad. Because it's like I see both sides of it. On one side, it's like, okay, yeah, we should not necessarily alienate our, brown and white allies and stuff. But at the same time, I do believe if you want to have certain events just for black people, there shouldn't be a problem either, as long as there's a balance. As long as there's opportunities for there to be events where brown-skinned people are included, because I think it should be a combination of both. I'm not somebody who's one of these black folks that say, you got to be black only. Some people use the term black first as a shield for really being black only, and I don't subscribe to that. I believe in, being for yourself first to a certain extent, but that shouldn't be at the expense of other people. And if other people want to come in and, help out with your issues and stuff like that, it's like, I don't have no problem with that. And there should be designated, events and stuff for the multiple races to get up and combine their issues together and talk about that. And, create a whole, platform to darn gonna stand on. And I said that recently in my last video. I forgot which one was it, but I was talking about how, the mistreatments of Haitians, how, the double standards with darn gone black and darn gone brown immigrants. And it's like the brown immigrants are darn gone getting reparations, the black ones darn gone getting whipped and darn gone sent back in droves. And now, when you look at us as Americans, as black people, we want to have discussions about, our own events and stuff. And then you have the brown folks who are already seem like they darn gonna getting the carpet rolled out for them by the Democratic Party. Y'all want to come in and talk about y'all plight, but it's like, sometimes it just needs to be us, because it's like, well, shit, it seems like y'all don't have no problem getting y'all situation resolved, at least by one party. It's like collectively from every party, from independent, Democrat, Republican, Tea Party, everybody don't want to see nothing for black people. Because I don't hear no darn on opposition too tough from the darn on independents nor Democrats about the darn on Haitians being sent out back in droves. About darn on black people ain't even getting the study for reparations off the ground. So if we want to vent and talk, mess amongst ourselves, let us do that. Now when it comes to, getting policies and stuff together on a broad scale, from black issues such as reparations, from global issues that affect black and brown people such as proper immigration reform, that's when we start to include our Latinas and our Asians and Hispanics to coming in. Once again, we can focus on multiple things at once. But certain events, I can see it being black only. And it shouldn't be no darn going animosity with our brown counterparts, because I think of it like this. If you having a Hispanic Pride Month, y'all just had darn on Hispanic Heritage Month from September 15th, October 15th. How would y'all feel if I darn gonna start waving the motherfucking darn gonna cultural flag and be like, it's like, girl, my name might be Hispanic, but bitch, I'm not. Y'all look at me like I'm crazy if I wanted to go down to the darn on Hispanic event or whatnot under the guise of, oh, I'm one of y'all. Same thing for Asian and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. It's like sometimes certain stuff needs to be, celebrated or discussed amongst that particular group. And it doesn't mean that you can't at other times, collaborate with other different people. But sometimes some people need to have their own. Just like Asian folks have their discussions, Hispanics have theirs, Black people, we need to have ours. And from what I'm seeing is anytime black people get together, it seems like we have to darn going always be the carriers of everybody else darn going shit. And then as a result, everybody else start to get some darn going form of darn going, restitution at black people's expense. Black people were the pioneers of the civil rights movement, but darn going white women benefited the most from it. Darn going, we darn going made it where everybody else can come in, and then I'll be damned if everybody else don't get the benefit, the ones that are not like this. Because y'all sending the darn going Africans back, you're sending the Haitians back, but if you darn going Middle Eastern like this, you get to come on in, get the darn going, possibly get $450,000 for reparations. Asian folks, there's a discussion of reparations for them too. Then you got darn going, and I ain't talking about the Asian protection bill. I'm talking about there was actually a bill that was in the works for darn going reparations for Asians back in the earlier 18th century that was working on the railroads and stuff back during the construction era. So it's like, oh, we can go all the way back to ancestral time for Asians working on the railroads, but y'all saying with that we can't use that as we can't go back to slavery days to talk about reparation for slavery because ain't nobody alive today. Well, hell, ain't none of the Asian folks that worked on the railroads alive today, but hell, y'all darn gonna try to make more leeway with that than darn going talking about the reparations for us. And hell, you still got some folks that are alive from darn on Tulsa. And you don't even want to pay the 3 darn on survivors of the Tulsa race riots. So, like I said, I can understand black people's frustration who want to vent and talk about this amongst us. Because we shouldn't feel like we need to tiptoe on certain subjects and, for the sake of, the white person that is there, this, that, and the third. So I'm split on it. It's like, okay, we should have certain events that includes our brown folks and our white folks. Other events I'm not necessarily against. And then y'all know we're going to touch on this subject again. When the episode finally comes out with Jewel and Alyssa. Because I really want to know how that conversation went down with both of them, honey. Because it seemed like it's very similar to what's going on right now with Love and Hip Hop. Matter of fact, I might send this video over to Jewel for some clarification to see if it is indeed similar to what's going on. But now this is where I got to give old girl the side eye though. Now, according to Amara Negra, she like, oh, it's mighty funny this bitch is talking about it's excluding folks, and she on this black parade, on my black parade, in my Beyonce voice. Honey, nah. Honey, you on this doggone, you for the black folks. Honey, Marla Negra done let it out that Shalia, honey, whatever her name is, was doggone one of the folks that was calling out Marla Negra in season 1 and saying that she ain't really black. She spray tans her skin. She's in blackface. She's wearing contacts. She's wearing a wig. This, that, and the motherfucking third. And it took for Marla Negra to start coming out with childhood videos of her with her same chocolate complexion. Us seeing her father, who is actually darn going just as dark as her, for people to finally cut the shit out about Amara La Negra being in blackface. And finally know, and then, you know, the contact rumors was laid to rest when we started seeing the childhood pictures as well. And then we done seen her without her hair, and it's like a tight curly pattern similar to my hair. And it's like, well, damn. So it's like, damn if you do, damn if you don't. Y'all say any other time a black woman always wearing somebody else's weave but her own type of hair. You finally get a black woman that wears hair similar to her hair texture, and now y'all wanting to say that the bitch is darn gonna fake it, and then, oh, she's really a Rachel Doll sign in disguise. And it's like, how in the hell is we going to call her like a Rachel Doll style, and we know the mama is darn gone at least brown skin. We see Mama La Negra looks like she's indigenous, you know, Indian mixed with some black. So it's like, at least off of the strength of the mama alone, we know that she ain't, Amara can't be damn flat out white. But, you know, for whatever reason, folks was on that bullshit in season 1, child. And darn gone Amara saying that old Shalia was part of the darn gone crew that was on that bullshit. But now she darn gone forgot now that she's conveniently on the show, and she darn gonna make it nice inviting Amara to the darn gone event. So honey, I can't wait till they have that damn discussion, child. If that discussion happens. So now Shalia, now we got to look at your ass with the side eye. I was like, oh, not the biracial chick trying to overcompensate, honey, and try to call out the actual darn gone Afro Latina that is more darn gone fully black than her. That actually we know to be more consistent on the pro-blackness than darn gone her. Child. This is going to be interesting right here. Light skin versus dark skin. Darn gone Latina. Oh, and also speaking of light skin versus dark skin. Now this is what you call actual light skin and dark skin. Because now Naraya, now I got to come back and darn gone mollywop your ass a little bit. Because at no point in time did you say that you was a darn on a black sister. Because at first I thought you was on some Faith Evans type of shit. Because hell, I didn't even think that you was really Latina. Like I thought you was like an old red bone, honey, high yellow. I'm high yellow in yo. Thoughts can't clock me nowadays, honey. Thinking like a pound cake. No, I'm looking good as fuck. Wish I was your baby mama. No, honey, I thought you was giving darn on Mariah Carey version of the darn on Beyonce song, Flawless Darling. But turns out you actually is a white Latina. You like old girl off of darn on growing up hip hop New York. The one that almost got her ass whooped by the other darn on white girl with the black hair. Child boo. I think her name was, and then ironically, I think her name was Drita. Not to be confused with Drita off of Modwise. And speaking of Modwise, I can't wait till I just made an order today. So in the next upcoming weeks, y'all will not be seeing me blowing my nose as much with this mucus buildup, because I done finally darn going shout out to Bobby Lights. Honey, Bobby Lights has been shouting out sea scrubs and darn going tailor-made sea moss. And I done finally darn put in my payment for darn going sea moss, honey. They actually have a payment, you know, they actually are signed through Celso and Quad Pay. And y'all know, honey, I take advantage of that shit, honey. Child, so I don't put me in an order for the darn going the body lotion and the darn going the sea moss gel. I would have got the drink too, but they say they can't ship the drinks out until January of 2022. So I said we going to finally see what this tailor-made sea moss is about, honey. So hopefully in the next upcoming weeks, y'all won't be seeing me darn on my nose running like damn Roscoe, child. But speaking of running, child, Shalia, you might want darn on run to get away from darn on Amara La Negra, honey. With this, because girl, you done got called out on your hypocrisy. And like I said, you would actually be considered light skinned in comparison to darn going Amara La Negra. That is an accurate comparison of light skin versus dark skin. Darn going, when you are a whole different race, you don't get to use the colorism aspect. Colorism is within the confines of being the same race. It's like if you was darn on Mariah Carey, Faith Evans, Raven Simone, somebody of that caliber, then you can use, you know, colorism argument or whatnot. But it's like, girl, you was straight up white. You talking about you didn't feel like you was invited because you was damn light skinned. It's like, girl, you wasn't invited, bitch, because you was white. Hell, Princess Love is damn caramel. Now, granted, I know in the Latina community, y'all have different, you know, viewpoints of what is dark skin. But hell, we talking about a black event. And in the black community, Princess is darn going light skin. She's a red bone chick. And I'm sure there's going to be black people there that's damn near your complexion darn going, Naraya. So it's like, girl, this ain't had nothing to do with color. So that was another thing that was irking my nose. Talking about, oh, she has an issue. You know, I guess she don't see it for me because I'm light skinned. Where did darn on skin color come into this darn on play? Especially since you're talking to a biracial chick who has a darn on Mexican mother and a darn on sister that is darn on whiter than you. And for whatever reason, you wanted to turn this into a whole colorism argument. As if you a darn on high yellow sister. So that was darn on throwing me for a loop too. So once again, to all my non-black folks out there, do not use colorism as a counter argument for not being invited to black events. If they say it was black only and you happen to be pale as a sheet of damn paper, we are not inviting you because they're going, oh, it's you light skin. Number one, light skin only applies to black people when we're talking about black events. Once again, you're not light skinned if your genetics is damn dominantly motherfucking white. So that was one thing that was irking my nerves with this shit as well. Off of this subject, we end out with darn going Trina darn going cussing the hell out of motherfucking darn going Joy, honey. I said, oh, joyful, ooh, was looking sorry for down there. Honey darn going Joy, you brought that shit upon yourself, girl. You knew better. You knew your darn going cousin ain't wrapped too tight. She's unstable. And she wasn't for darn going mama priestess coming down there and ambushing her. And then you thought you had your darn going cousin up there that was going to be in the amen corner with you. Honey, Bobby knew the darn going stay silent. Bobby said, I'm going to sit here and look pretty on this shit. I ain't got a bone up in this darn going fight, honey. Joy, you on your own, girl. And then darn on the brother jumped up and like I feel her on. I said, girl, see now you done pissed off because you know that both of they, you know, Trina and the other dude, they are actually brother and sister. So when you was talking about Trina mama, you was talking about his mama too. And you go bringing up a darn going priest talking about, you know, I knew I was gonna be called upon to talk to a female. I was like, girl, this ain't time for you to be on your Cleo shit. Because you had a good piece of sickening darn on weave up in your hair. And the way Trina was looking at you, she was going to slap the Holy Ghost and the holy darn on edges off your motherfucking ass. She did not give a damn about you so-called being covered in the blood of Jesus. You was about to darn on meet Jesus if you kept that shit up talking about darn on Trina's mother. Like she said, don't bring my mother into this period. Honey, she said, don't bring her mama into this, child. And you fucked up, Joy. Child, boo, this gonna be interesting next week. Joy darn gonna couldn't do nothing but darn gonna sit there and darn gonna be perched. Give us one of these looks for the rest of the damn show. I said, girl, you brought that upon yourself. It's like, girl, you know, that is not the way the darn gonna go. And then I can darn gonna see it from this perspective that maybe Trina might not have would have been as mad if you did not have the show on here, because then it looks like you darn on doing this just for the sake of the show and for cameras and shit. Because it's like, now if you really was looking out for my well-being, we could have did this shit off darn on camera. There's times where the cameras don't always be around us, and they could have made an exception for my grievance of my darn mother. So the fact that you add insult to injury and blindside me with this darn Miss darn makeshift darn clairvoyant darn wanna be darn connected priestess, so-called direct ties to God, it's like, we could have did all this off the show and I might not have felt this bad. But the fact that you add this on the show, it makes me seem like you wanted to darn gonna play on my pain for a damn storyline. So it's like, honey, Joy's in the doghouse for right now. And that basically ends out the show. That was the main thing that was going on this episode was, you know, Trina still overcoming the grief of her mother and Joy being out of line for darn going, trying to get a darn going Cleo psychic to darn going try to fix shit. And then the colorism conundrum, which wasn't even a colorism conundrum. It really was a racial issue that was going on. But those were our two things that happened this week at darn on episode 10 of Love and Hip Hop Miami. Also, we're going to close this out with a congratulations because I thought, you know, she did have a miscarriage, but she turned around and had twins. About to have twins. I said, okay, come on through, chocolate, Beyonce. Honey, come on. And she said she did it all naturally. Honey, I said, oh, come on through with the darn chocolate version of B, honey. Darn on the cover of People magazine giving us darn I am blessed with the power of two, honey. I am having twins. Is it by the same man, though? Not to say that she has two babies by two different, twins by different baby daddies. That's not what I'm getting at. I'm talking about is the babies by the same, man that she was messing with at the islands or whatnot. I would hope so. Because I don't think she got with somebody else that fast and then done gotten children like that. And then, Tasha K done did an interview, child, with the darn last boyfriend and said that, honey, Amara left her for the darn bestie. Honey, I got to darn listen to that interview, child. But anyways, we'll talk about that in a whole nother episode. But what are y'all thoughts on this main issue with the darn non-black people? Should they get an invite to darn black issue events? I done gave y'all my side. I would love to know y'all side. Leave it down below. Feel free to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I will see y'all soon with more videos. Mwah.